Okay, good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to another Lunch Break Live. This is your boy Tim, the Handsome Liber. Want to ask a question. We're hearing it all over the news. Obviously, there are no shortage of individuals that believe the trade that President Biden made was a bad trade. You have everyone from Donald Trump Jr., to President Trump himself, and a host of right-wing media pundits, such as the Hannitys and Tucker Carlsons, pointing out the bad trade that Biden made, suggesting that this merchant of death individual is going to get right back in the game and start killing folks. We can talk about that. But in addition to that, there is the outcry against Biden as to why did he not rescue Whelan? Whelan has a history of serving in the U.S. Marines. I understand folks are suggesting he was dishonorably discharged and committed a crime. But that is also part of the chastising of President Biden. Why did he not rescue Whelan? So today we're going to be asking the obvious question. With Whelan being in custody since 2018 and many folks on the right criticizing Biden for not bringing it home, the question I'm going to ask is, why have we not heard much about Whelan before this trade? President Trump had a favorable relationship with Putin. Many of my beloved MAGA viewers believe that even the war with Ukraine would never have taken place if Trump was reelected. So the question I would obviously have to ask, if Trump has such a strong rapport with Russia, why didn't he bring Whelan home? Why was Whelan already in prison for 2 years when Biden took office? And why are the right criticizing Biden for not bringing Whelan home when he was actually detained under a right-wing administration? I got to wonder why these questions haven't come up. And, I mean, in my opinion, these are fair questions to ask, even if you are being critical of President Biden. It was a bad trade. Okay, that's a legitimate point to make. But if you do believe that Trump would have done this stuff, the obvious question is, why didn't he do it? And as always, this is a MAGA-friendly program. I do not ban, block, or censor anyone for their commentary. If you come in a box, I always promise on every program, I'll give you plenty of time to state your point. The fact that you may disagree with the host doesn't mean a damn thing. You'll never have to fear being censored for your commentary here. Go into the comments. They never have the answer. Purple Diamond, love the name Purple Diamond 7. Yeah, I don't hear the answers. I hear the criticism of Biden. I'm not here to suggest that some of that's not legitimate criticism. However, a lot of the criticism of Biden is coming from the Trump administration with absolutely no explanation as to why the hell didn't you guys release this man? He was detained under your administration. You did not hear a lot about Whelan during the Trump administration at all. In fact, the Whelan family themselves are all over the media outlets criticizing the Trump administration, suggesting that they didn't even contact them to any degree. You had the brother of Whelan on television saying that he is happy for Griner's release. He certainly wants his brother to come home. But he stated that the Biden administration actually called him to let him know Griner was going to be released, and that they tried to get his brother released and they were not able to do anything. According to the Whelan brother, he stated it was refreshing to at least have them give me a call. So we have to ask that question. Why is the Trump administration criticizing Biden without giving an explanation as to what they did to bring home Whelan? And why are there so many folks on the right, my beloved MAGA folks, that believe Trump had such a strong rapport with Putin, yet he couldn't bring Whelan home? Something doesn't add up there, and it's worthy of asking questions. Like I said, we can criticize Biden on the trade. Fair enough. You want to point out the trade looks bad? Okay, that's fair. But you have to ask the question, because Trump is engaging in the criticism himself. Why didn't you do something different then? That has to be asked. Look it in the comments. Everybody still has a crush on Trump. Shaking my head. Trump keeps your page up, I guess. Anthony W1443. It doesn't matter where you go. I don't understand the notion that when a left winger says anything about Trump, he's living rent free in your head. You got Trump derangement syndrome. If you believe the left that constantly talks about Trump have Trump derangement syndrome or he's living rent free in their heads, how do you feel about the guys with pickup trucks driving through town with huge Trump flags flying around? I mean, if the liberals are deranged just for talking about the guy, what do you say to folks who are actually walking around in Trump apparel and shirts and shit? I mean, you got to be fair, unless your mindset is only speaking negatively of him is derangement. You can talk about him all day, 24 hours a day, as long as it's positive. You only have derangement if you're criticizing him. Let me know how your mindset is on that. Feel free to comment. The Trump administration simply didn't think that Paul Whelan should have been freed, Sadell Saint. Fair enough. And that could be a legitimate point, that the Trump administration did not think that Paul Whelan should have been freed. But that makes no sense that they're now criticizing the Biden administration for not doing it. And by the way, in regards to that point, Ambassador Bolton, John Bolton, a appointee from President Trump, said exactly that they didn't believe he was worthy of being freed. But he can only say so much because Trump is engaged in criticizing Biden right now for not doing it. But when you ask the question, well, shit, if you think he should have brought home Whelan, why didn't you do it? You start getting a lot of hush-hush and evasive answers, which both Bolton and Mike Pence, they both admit that they had a proposed negotiation for Whelan, but after that, they start getting real iffy and their answers start getting real flaky. And they have no ultimate excuse for why they didn't bring him home, which makes their criticism of Biden look hypocritical. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 5,000 likes. I appreciate the follow. I appreciate the fact that you guys are tuned in to this type of shit every day. Like I said, no ban, no block, no censorship, no fear of that here. This is a MAGA-friendly program. Do not let the name discourage you. This is a MAGA-friendly program. MAGA are my preferred guests. However, liberals are welcome as well. Why do you have that hat? Says lift away. I get it on every broadcast. Either folks question the hat or folks see the hat and call me a sellout and Uncle Tom or Uncle Ruckus. I'm talking about the African Americans with the latter comment. The purpose of the hat, I say it on every program, is my shining light in the middle of the night to let MAGA know your opinions are welcome here. They will be defended. I am a huge proponent of free speech. I solemnly believe MAGA folks on the right, Republicans and conservatives, do not often get a fair say, a fair shake when it comes to mainstream media. A lot of times they are censored, blocked, banned, or discouraged from coming forward. Even though I lean left, I always entertain speaking to MAGA. I enjoy talking to the other side, and that is the purpose of the hat, is to let folks know this is a MAGA-friendly program. All right, looking in the comments. So why would I believe anything Biden says? Lies just to lie. Barbie 85, Biden is a politician. I'm not, even though I lean left, I'm not going to pretend like politicians do not lie. But I would submit to you, voting Biden out of office and putting Trump in office or Ron DeSantis in office or another Republican is not going to escape the lies. You may like the economy they give you, or you may like their stance on the Second Amendment or right to choose from women or whatever the case may be. There are principles and legitimate reasons to vote Republican, but you're not going to escape lying. We've had 4 years of Trump already. You're going to tell me he never said anything that was not true? You believe that everything Trump said was the truth? Somebody in the comments, let me know if you believe Trump. Give me a percentage out of all of the shit you've heard from Trump, whether you liked it or disliked it. What percentage of that you believe is true? You believe 100% of everything Trump said is true, and you believe Biden lies all the time. Let me know in the comments. Do you? But I'm a liberal, says Ray G. That's me. Appreciate that. Do you, brother no support from me. Okay, fair enough. Most media is left. I do agree with that, Josh Messler. You do realize Trump tried to overthrow your government. Gary Gulix. It does look that way, but at the end of the day, he was not convicted of it. But if you're asking your humble correspondent, yours truly, yeah, it looks like he wanted to stay in power. It does look like, and I understand my MAGA folks did not watch the January 6th hearings, but based on the testimony from those who worked with Trump, it does appear as if he realized he lost to Biden. I believe one individual testified that Trump told them, can you believe I lost to this fucking guy? So it does appear that Trump realized he lost and just did not want to accept it. That's the way I would ascertain that. Now, I understand other folks viewing it have a different opinion, so fair enough. Biden 2024, I see that in the comments. Why are Dems defecting from the party at such an alarming rate? Says, in regards to Democrats leaving the Democratic Party at an alarming rate, based on what I've seen, I'm going to suggest that, and I'll go right to the box. I see folks in the box, and I don't have 5,000 likes yet. Tap the damn screen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. We try to deliver decent content here. In regards to folks leaving the Democratic Party at an alarming rate, my opinion is some of that is, in fact, probably a lot of that is propaganda. Remember the hashtag walkaway movement? How all of the African Americans were fed up with the Democratic Party, fed up with the quote unquote plantation, and they were going to vote Republican for Trump. That didn't happen. Trump did improve his numbers with the African American voters compared to previous presidents. But in terms of even coming close to 50%, he wasn't even close. The hashtag walkaway movement was a complete failure. So now here we are in 2022, after the supposed red wave that failed as well, being asked, why are Democrats defecting from the party at such an alarming rate? My simple response would be, they are not. They are not. You see Kristen Sinema has one independent. She's not jumping up and down and yelling she's a Republican. Only person that really did that is Tulsi Gabbard. But at the same time, I guess we could bring up Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, the McCain families and all of them, and that's why are they defecting from MAGA at an alarming rate. And there are far more of them than there are prominent Democrats leaving the Democratic Party. All right, looking at the box, it is Eddie. Good afternoon, Eddie, and welcome to the program. If TikTok, for some reason, okay, there we go, Eddie. Good afternoon.
How's it going?
Good to have you on. We've talked before, correct?
Oh yeah, we talked 3 times, I think.
Absolutely, good to have you back. So why do you believe the Trump administration did not rescue Whelan, because they're so critical of Biden not doing it? So why do you think they didn't do much for it?
Dude, no, say it again. I didn't hear you.
The Trump administration, including even Don Jr. and his children, many folks on the right are criticizing Biden for not bringing home Whelan from Russia. He was actually incarcerated in 2018 during the Trump administration. I'm asking, since Trump is so critical of Biden not bringing this guy home, why do you think Trump chose not to bring him home?
Because he was dishonorably discharged.
So if Trump chose not to bring him home because he was dishonorably discharged, did his military status change after Biden took office? Why is Trump now criticizing Biden for not doing something he also chose not to do?
Because they're hypocrites. This is pretty obvious.
Okay, well, I have to add, because Trump is not the only. The entire right-wing side of the aisle is critical of Biden not bringing this man home.
Yeah, they're hypocrites. They say exactly the opposite what people are doing, and it's them that's done it. Yeah. Just like the child, being a pedophile. They'll say the Dems are pedophiles when it's actually all the Republicans.
Well, I don't want to say no. Wait a minute. I got to stop you on that. We let's not pretend like either party is abusing children in mass. That's going a bit deep. I mean, are there some
I know,
abusers
but
that?
I'm saying
Yeah.
more Republicans have been convicted of it than Democrats.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, so to speak. But you do
Right.
you do admit. So you do suggest that what happened with Whelan is hypocritical.
It's very hypocritical. Plus, he's a spy, or he was doing real bad stuff. I mean, he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing.
You're
She was.
saying so when Whelan was in Russia, you're saying he was not doing what he was supposed to be doing. Are you suggesting that he was operating on behalf of the U.S. government?
No, I think he was operating for himself.
Oh,
He, he was dishonorably discharged.
right.
Might might have been working for a Russian oligarch. Who knows?
Okay. So do you support Biden's decision to continue to lead this guy there? Or do you believe we should be fighting to get this guy back?
Well, he didn't decide to keep leaving in there. He just didn't pick him to get out of there.
Right,
There's
right.
a difference. He didn't
That is
go,
true.
"Oh, I'm not gonna get him ever." He just said, "I'm getting her out because she really doesn't deserve to be there for just a pot situation." Give
Yeah.
me a break.
Well, but you got to
Marijuana, so
admit
what?
that the folks on the right are incredibly unhappy with the rescue of Brittany Griner. I've had folks in my program suggest she deserves life.
Oh, yeah, for pot. Oh my God. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's something that
Well,
grows out of the ground, is legalized in a lot of states now. It needs to stop. It's just marijuana.
right. Well, even in the comments right now, I got Kelvin Cootie basically in capital letters saying yes, she does with exclamation points. So, I
She
mean, I get what
doesn't.
you're saying, but why do you think there are folks in this country that lean right that are suggesting this woman deserves life in prison for cannabis?
Because they always want the worst for other people, but if they had to go through it, they'd change their mind in 2 seconds, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I tend to think so. For what she had on her personal use amount, life in prison. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, but
She had her personal use marijuana. Oh my God, it's the end of the world.
yeah, but I got Team Trump in the comments said, but she broke the law. She
Yeah,
she
she
committed a
broke
crime.
Russian law. She didn't break American law. So what?
Yeah, but if you go to a different country, you can't break the law there and say, "Well, that's not illegal in my country." You do, as they say, when in Rome, you got to do what the Romans do. So, to some
Yeah,
degree, you can't go to
yeah.
someone else's country and break their laws based on the United
Remember,
States.
remember when people come to the United States that have diplomatic immunity, they break laws all the time. They can kill somebody and get away with it. And all she had was some personal use marijuana. That does not deserve a prison sentence.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't anything possibly to do with the fact that she didn't perform for the anthem. She didn't come out and salute the flag during the anthem. Folks are saying she's anti-American. What about the notion that if you don't behave in a patriotic way and you end up needing the help of the United States, they should be hesitant to help you?
No, that's the whole point of this country. You don't have to salute and stand to the national anthem and be a slave to the country. It's just ridiculous. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to, that's like praying to the flag. Okay, I got to pray to the flag for me to be respected as an American. Give me a break.
Well, I gotta move it on, but what you just said kind of reminds me of Trump embracing the flag on stage. He was holding the flag,
Yeah,
so that kind of
this
sounds
is so
like,
dumb. I mean, he's hugging the flag like he's some kind of person or a
yeah,
historic statue or something. It's just the flag. Yes, the flag is important, but and we pledge to the allegiance to the flag, but we're not over here making love to the flag every day. It's like it's our symbol of our country, but it's not something we're just like we're not Nazis about the flag.
oh my God, I can't imagine seeing a U.S. flag with nut stains on it. But I gotta move it on, man. Come on back through anytime. Come on back through. All
Well,
right. Okay. Looking in the comments, and I appreciate you coming through. I ended up clipping it a little soon, but I do appreciate that. Trump is pandering to his base. Well, Chef Darrow, in regards to Trump pandering to his base, make no mistake about it, so is the left. I mean, what Biden did, even though it is bringing home an American 228, I appreciate the hat and mustache. Thank you. So, Zoe as well. You guys are showing generosity. Much love to you. Thank you. In regards to Trump pandering to his base, what Biden did the other day with Brittany Griner, there is pandering to that. I mean, he's going to, do some photo ops and things like that. I don't know how many photo ops he will do. I mean, if Trump did it, he'd probably have her around at rallies and things like that. Biden obviously is not holding rallies, but I guarantee you Biden and Brittany Griner will be on TV together. Catherine, thank you for that cap. Appreciate the covering up this bald-headed ass dome. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's pandering because at the end of the day, Biden is going to win a few votes with both the African American community and the LGBT community. And I'll give you a statement. I'll go right back to the box. I won't talk too long, but real quick, I'll give you a phrase that you would have likely heard. I told you Biden is a racist. Told you he don't like you guys. He had a chance to bring home a black girl, and he didn't even do that for you guys. That's what you would have heard if he had left her there with a clear-cut chance of bringing her home. It is Anthony 6195. It was the right decision, says user. Many are saying that. You need a new subject? Anthony, good afternoon.
What up, Chief? How you
Anthony,
doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Why do you think, because Trump is criticizing the hell out of Biden for not bringing home Whelan, but yet Whelan was in prison for 2 years during the Trump administration. Why do you think that he's criticizing another man for not doing what he had a chance to do?
Because he knows that he has 35% of the country that's hanging on his every word and has been for the last 6 years.
Yeah, but even if you're hanging on Trump's every word, you still know he could have rescued the man. I mean, are they not going to ask that question?
Truthfully, handsome, I really and truly believe, and this is without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, that had he brought Whelan home, you would have that same group of people talking about him bringing home a dishonorably discharged spot. So
Wow.
he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't. They were going anything that man accomplishes, they're going to smear it.
Mm.
It's
Well,
politics.
I don't.
It's politics.
Yeah, it is politics. What about if it was the other way around? What if Trump had brought home Brittany Griner? How might the liberals had responded to Trump?
They would have. They wouldn't have congratulated him, but they would have been happy for him bringing home an American.
You don't think they would have? You don't think we would have spun in some kind of way, say he was pandering to the black community, trying to win votes from the gay crowd?
I don't. Did they do that when he brought home the kid from North Korea? He also brought home somebody from Russia before he was before we ousted him out of the White House. So he's brought every president that we've had have brought home some kind of, I don't want to call him prisoner of war, but have done trades.
Yeah.
So this is not anything new. What's new is we have a 35% of this country that is dead. For them to say that we hate America, they hate America more than anybody in this country.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
These the same people that for the 8 years of Obama, it took 8 years to begin to see him pull us out of the hard times that Bush got us in. They hated him for it. Every step, every move of the way, they hated him. Soon as they got Trump in, and a lot of his supporters are first-time voters. If you go back and look at it, a lot of his supporters are first-time voters.
Okay.
He was a propaganda machine, and it worked.
Well, wait a minute. I would suggest that all presidents are, for the most part, propaganda machines. They
No,
actually have propaganda machines working for them.
I agree, but you've never had a president in the history of this country that has campaigned and did what do you call him when he gathered all his little people around,
Rally?
did
You talking about the
rally.
rally?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've never had a president that's campaigned and rallied from the day that he was elected to the day we kicked him out of
Okay,
office.
I
That's
gotta play devil's advocate in regards to not having a president that's rallied. Some might argue we need that. What's wrong with having a politician come from city to city and actually talk to the people as opposed to dictating politics from Washington from the White House? Is there anything wrong with coming to your city and talking to you?
no, it's not anything wrong with it if you're getting something accomplished. But this man didn't get anything accomplished. You know, the man, all he did was rallied in golf and made people in that 35% bracket feel good about who they were.
So
That's it.
if all he did was rallied and golfed, then why does that 35% like him? According to you, he didn't do anything. So why they have to think he did something right?
Because he made them feel special. You know, he
How
made them
so?
feel like this was their country again. He was trying to make America great again. And I'm being political right now because I don't want to just be rude.
Okay.
He
So,
made
but I
35%.
mean,
He made 35% of the country. The 35% of the country that felt for the longest that they've been ignored, that they've been brushed by. You know, he made those people feel good again.
okay. So let me ask you this question. I want to because I got this from Westico in the comments. The question is, does Biden make you feel good in any way? So you're pointing out the flaws and the fallacies of Trump. Looking at the fact that Biden is the president, how do you respond to someone who asks the question, does Biden make you feel good in any way at all?
Yeah, because I read and I'm educated. I know that there's not a country on this planet right now that's not suffering through recessions. You know, there's not a country on this planet right now that's not going through hard times who are not watching or going through inflation. We're not special. The special thing about
So
us, the special
okay,
thing about us, the
fair
special
enough.
thing
So
about
at the end of the day, do you believe Biden currently as commander in chief? Do you think he's doing a good job?
you're damn right. Because that, in my opinion, yeah, and we've talked about this before. He was the perfect man for the job because had we got the people that we wanted to be in office, I don't think he would have got anything accomplished. With him being so rooted in politics for so long, he was able to do things that Gavin Newsom's and the people that we as progressives wanted to elect. He did things that those people would not have been able to get
So,
done.
but what you're saying, if what you're saying is true, it goes against everything the voters are wanting, which is they don't want typical politicians. They want term limits. What you're saying is a typical politician that has enjoyed a lengthy entire adult life because of no term limits was the best guy for the job. So if we start implementing term limits, younger folks in office, then you will never get a Biden again.
And I'm cool with that. He was a platform. He was a great platform.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been available. You said in 2020 he was the guy we needed, but
Yes.
you're trying to turn politics in a way that the guy we needed will no longer ever be around in future elections.
Okay. Hopefully, we'll never have another president like Donald Trump to steer America to the brink of demise.
But what has this country done to make you believe another president like Trump could not win again? It's not like we changed any rules. It's not like we changed any hearts and minds of any significance. A Trump could easily
But
win again. In fact, he's running for office.
can I be honest with you? Like I said, I studied this.
Absolutely.
I studied this. Republicans lost. Now this is after all the excitement of Donald Trump. You get it in 2016.
Okay.
After all
Okay.
the excitement of Donald Trump, 2017 they lost special election. 2018 they lost midterm. 2019 they lost special elections. The only thing that they had that favored a win was the cat in Virginia, who told Trump not to come to Virginia. He didn't want to campaign with Trump. He didn't want to do anything with Trump. Youngkin. I think his name is Youngkin.
Okay.
That is the way of the Republican future. But what they don't see is the majority of the Republicans still are holding on to this make believe MAGA shit. And the
Make
America,
believe. You said make believe MAGA shit. I've never
yeah,
heard that.
yeah, and America is telling them that they don't want anything to do with it. They've lost 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2022. It
Well,
hasn't been just 3 elections, it's been 5 elections that America has told MAGA, we're just not that into you. And
wow.
as long as they continue to try to push candidates like Trump, like DeSantis, and anything like those cats that are MAGA associated, they're going to continue to lose. And I pray they run Trump because I told them in 2016, this man is going to single-handedly destroy your party.
Mm. All right, I got to move it on, Anthony. Good talk. Come on back through as always.
Always.
Good talk. All right. Say, folks, regardless of how we feel, me, you, folks who are watching the program, I do not censor, ban, or block anyone for their commentary. This is a MAGA friendly program, but liberals are welcome. So come on in to the box. Guarantee you don't have to worry about being censored or anything of that nature. Looking in the comments, where's Harriet Tubman and her gun? I don't know. It's probably, she was buried with full military honor, so she probably would be in the cemetery. Trump is a Democrat. Post Fontaine, based on what? The 1980s video floating around on YouTube? There's no way in the world anyone is going to view Trump as a Democrat in 2022. That's in the past. My man's delivered. Appreciating the previous call. And by the way, tap the screen. 15,000 likes. It's possible if you guys show your boy some love. Third win for Trump coming soon, says Randy Leo. I'm assuming that indicates he had a victory in 2020. Then what happened? Why isn't he in the White House? He is still destroying the Republican Party, says I am Lamars. Some would argue that, but other folks believe that Trump is the future, is the best move forward for the Republican Party. So we'll see. Got 2 more years. Going back to the box, it is Kitty Whipped. I think I may have been there once or twice. Kitty Whipped. Good afternoon, Kitty Whipped, and welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hey, Kitty Whipped. Are you whipping folks?
No, the name is because I have 7 stray cats and they just own my life.
Okay. All right. Just ruined my fantasy altogether. But
Sorry.
anyway, so we're talking about Whelan. Why didn't Trump rescue this guy? He's criticizing the hell out of Biden. So why didn't he do it?
So I don't think that Trump or Biden decided to leave Whelan there. I think we're getting distracted in the conversation. But, the truth is Paul Whelan holds citizenship in 4 countries, not just the
Yes, I
United
have heard that.
States. So
Yes,
there
I
are
have heard that.
4 countries that are working on his release. Brittany Griner only had 1 country working on her release. Paul Whelan has 4 countries working on his release. But I don't think that either Trump or Biden decided to leave Whelan there. They are both subject to what Putin wants.
True. But
And
the
Putin,
Whelan family is on television stating that the Trump administration was not doing anything for them.
and that may be true. I mean, that is the family. So obviously they are emotionally attached to this situation. And I don't know if that is, a biased
Yeah.
or an unbiased response. But I don't believe that Trump had the power to get Whelan back. I do
Well,
believe
you
that if
got
Trump
people,
could
wait
have,
a minute. You got folks, certainly my MAGA viewers, that are suggesting that Trump had the power to prevent Putin from starting a war with the Ukraine. You telling me he didn't have the power to get one dude back?
yeah, I don't think that Trump did have the power to get him back because I don't think that Putin wanted to let him go.
Yeah. Wow.
And I don't think that anybody has any control over Putin ever. And that's not a diss to any political party or any particular president
Right.
or the Queen or now King Charles or any other ruler. I don't think that anyone has ever had any control over Putin. And I
Well,
don't think they ever will.
but then it leads to the obvious question then. If Trump did not intentionally leave Whelan and he did not have power to get him back, why is he criticizing Biden, who might be in the exact same predicament? He's criticizing Biden for not bringing this guy home.
He criticizes Biden for everything. Biden gets a scoop of ice cream and it's on Fox News. And that's just the Republicans, that's just their modus operandi. That's what they do. They criticize everything. And it's really sad that we have just so much hypocrisy in politics and it's just wasting time. Everybody's fighting over this and that. And, the truth is that human beings can get a lot done when we, group together, when we band together and work together. And, sitting here fighting each other for one side or the other is not helping our citizens.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. So at the end of the day, you believe that he did the right thing by bringing Griner home for this other guy who was allegedly the merchant of death?
Okay, so here's how I feel about that also. We're talking about him as the merchant of death. That is giving him a
Propaganda.
nickname.
It's
Yeah, it is.
propaganda.
It
It's a
is.
media nickname. Yeah.
It is. But what we're really looking at here is that man was in prison for, I think, 15 years. He only had 6 years left on his prison sentence.
Yeah.
So what, the Biden administration did was trade that man for Brittany Griner, who, the U.S. maintains has been unlawfully detained
Hmm.
and sentenced to 9 years in a prison that's notorious for torture. I mean, she
Yeah.
had to cut her hair off
Yeah.
because her hair was freezing because that's how cold after she showered because that's how cold it was there. So,
Wow.
do I like it? No. But Putin is a terrorist. And I think that was the only way that the administration could see to get her home. And here's another thing that I just want to tell people, so they have a little bit of an idea about Moscow and Russia and their laws. I have been to Moscow. I flew into Moscow from Stockholm. We had a 3.5 hour layover in Amsterdam, and people got off the plane and bought all kinds of vape cartridges and oil and flour and everything because it's legal there, and then got back on the plane and flew into Moscow and went right through customs with it. So, people are getting very emotionally whipped up into this argument of, well, she broke the law and she did this and she did that. My understanding is that what she did bring was under the legal limit of what is allowed.
Wow. It certainly did not dictate 9 years, even according to her Russian lawyers.
Correct.
They stated that she got it. She got a ridiculous amount of time, even based
Correct.
on Russian law.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was a political prisoner. But I got to move it
Yes.
on, Kitty. Give you
Thank
the
you.
last word.
Great talking to you. Have a wonderful day.
Absolute. Come on back anytime.
Thank
Comments before we move on. I thought about got 25 years and had 15 left. No, I don't. The Boston Bryant. I'm under the impression he did 13 years. He was in prison since I believe 2011. He did 13 years. I believe he was in prison. Something like they said 13 years, and he had about 6 years remaining. But he was going to get out. So for folks suggesting that he's going to go right back into his old trade and start killing folks or whatever the case may be, he was only 5 or 6 years from freedom regardless. That does seem to be apparent that he was going to get out. He was going to get out sooner than Brittany Griner. We'll leave it at that. Brittany Griner had a 9 year sentence. This guy did not have 9 more years remaining on his sentence. So we'll leave it at that. Looking in the comments. He was replaced the day he was arrested. Yeah, I would absolutely believe that, spouse. Yeah, and the idea that he served 13 years in prison, was going to get out and go right back in his profession, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Even if you're a high-level drug dealer on the street, once you've been in custody for 13 years, your contacts ain't gonna want to deal with you like that. What the hell you mean you calling my house at 3 a.m. talking about you need 2 keys? You been inside. I don't know what the hell, what kind of deals you don't made with them people. Don't call me. I got a different connect now. And I would suggest that's the same way with what he was doing. The geography, the battlefields on this planet have changed significantly since 2013. I mean, hell, when was Bin Laden killed? It had to be not too soon or not too long after this guy got arrested. I mean, he goes back to that era. So a hell of a lot has changed. I just can't see him being allowed to jump right back in the game. Going to the box, it is the one and only 52 Cent. 52 Cent never disappoints. 52. If it lets you on it, TikTok is always flicky. I don't know why the hell it didn't let 52 on. Why would Putin put him back in? Why would Putin want him back? Has anyone asked that question? That's another good question as well. This guy has had the CIA all over his ass for 13 straight years. They've had unfettered access to him. For all the Russians know, he could have been pre-programmed or reprogrammed by now. The CIA has had unfettered access to him for 13 straight years. Would you put him back on the field representing Russia? Now that he's been in American hands for 13 straight years, you don't know what the hell this guy is capable of. Looking in the comments, Betty at the box, John caught this again. I don't know what the hell's going on with the box. John, can you hear me? John,
Can you hear me? I
Loud
can't
and
hear
clear.
you all of a sudden.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh.
So why do you believe Trump so critical of Biden not bringing home Whelan? Why do you think that Trump didn't do it himself?
Because Trump is weak. Simple as that.
Russia?
The problem that the reason why, well, listen, he loved Putin. Him and Putin got along fine. Trump is weak. His national security advisor said Trump was weak. They had a chance to have a deal, and Trump wouldn't take it.
So if you believe, yeah, he certainly did say that. But if you believe Trump is weak, then why do you believe so many folks from particularly MAGA believe Trump on the world stage is far stronger than Biden?
Because we have an American problem. Because when they talk about, and we've talked about this before, I talked to you once before, love coming on your lives, but we have a problem of make America great again. I don't ever know when America was great. And even with Brittany coming home, let me tell you something. We would not be having this discussion if her name was Brittany Spears. We wouldn't be having this discussion.
So I'm going to ask you the
no
obvious
discussion
question.
over this.
I got to ask you the obvious question since you stated that. What is the difference, the perceived difference with American society between Spears and Griner? What's so different? Female celebrities. Female celebrities. Oh.
Black.
You're suggesting
it's a race thing. I was talking to somebody on the live the other night, and I said, what if that was your sister? And he said, my family has morals. And I said, if the president called you and said, we can get your sister out of a Russian prison, but we got to get this bad guy to trade. He said his family would not have allowed the trade. They would have said not to do it. Yeah. And that is what the problem is. Here's the problem. The racism in this country, hold on. The racism in this country is so deep. It is so deep. People sit there and say, she doesn't love our country. She doesn't love America. She probably loves America. She doesn't like the people in it. and the way
Mm.
we are treated. Because I've said this once before, and I'll say it again. And a coach said this: when American people, we don't hug that flag. You know, they talk about everybody is created equal. That's in the Constitution.
Okay.
Everybody is created equal. It
Okay,
wasn't
how
then.
do you?
In
I want you to hang on a second. I want you to
1953,
wait a
they
minute.
said,
Hold
and
on, hold
justice.
on, hang on. You gotta let me respond to
Got it.
some of this. I want you
Got it.
to, because in the comments, someone suggested that if you believe that it is that racist here, then leave. How do you respond to comments like that?
I Well, first of all, I don't respond to comments like that
Yeah.
because that that is the problem with America. When Reagan said "Make America Great Again," Trump didn't come up with that. I've
No, true.
always asked, when was America great? Was it great in the 1950s when Black Americans were trying to get an education and segregate schools, and all those people were standing around spitting at them, yelling at them? Blah. Guess what? Those are we're dealing with their kids now. We're
Okay.
dealing with their
But you
kids.
don't believe. And by the way, folks, tap the damn screen. I should be at 20,000 likes. But anyway, you don't believe everybody that votes for Trump is racist, do you? I mean, you
Oh,
do realize there
absolutely
was
not.
okay.
Absolutely not. I have a
All
lot
right.
of friends that have voted for Trump, and they did it for economic reasons too.
Yeah.
They got money, but the problem is that when we sit here in America, and somebody like Brittany, who doesn't hug the flag, and who the national anthem has nothing to do with us, because that flag means a lot of things to a lot of people. The problem is with us Black Americans. We sit there and we try to love this country, but this country will not love us back. Period. They will not love us back. And that is what this whole Russia trade about. It ain't about who that guy is, because nobody's upset over the fact that President Trump allowed 5,000 terrorists out
But
of
wait,
prison
so when you
to make
say
a deal in Afghanistan. But everybody's talking about this one guy.
yeah, but when you
President
say
Trump wanted to
that
bring the
when you
Taliban
hold
to
on, hold on.
D.C.
You say that the country does not like African Americans back. We've had a black president. We got blacks on the Supreme Court, black VP. We've had black generals, Colin Powell. At this point, how do you, if the country does not like African Americans, yet we've permeated the highest levels of government, how do you explain that? I mean, it seems
I
like
mean,
nowadays, if you're African
but what
American,
but what
there's
you're trying to
nothing you
say is
can't do.
I'm not saying everybody, but the fact that I'm 59 years old.
Okay.
When I walk outside my door, I've heard Black kids, these young kids, 20, 30 years old. I don't see racism. I don't know racism. When you walk outside your door, you are Black. It is there. It is there. They had to, with the BLM, they had to change laws in Virginia. They had to change laws in Virginia where a cop cannot stop your car if you got dead tags, if you got your lights out, if there's a light out. And the police are ticked off. Well, we find other crimes when we stop people for those things. We
Well,
find other crimes.
I don't want to get too deep down the racism angle, but if the law requires you have up to date tags and you have both of your headlights working, I think it look. I get the point of stopping African Americans. We know the cops have a history of stopping us more than anyone else, but I don't want to change the laws where you can now start doing shit that's illegal. I mean, riding down the street with one headlight is a safety issue. Not having up to date tags, you're not paying your taxes. The road
But the
repairs and things like that.
but the problem is
You should have to
the
follow the
police are
law.
not there. The police are not there to whether we pay our taxes or not. That's just like the insurance
I
question.
don't like
The
that. I
police
don't
are
like
not
that.
there to
Yeah,
be
I don't like
cooperating
that.
for insurance companies. But I'm
Yeah, but
just saying,
I don't like
I,
being
I,
allowed to roll around dirty and saying that you shouldn't. If they stop you for no
we're
reason,
not talking about rolling around dirty. My mother is 80 years old. She has a car. I drove by and I said, "Ooh, your tags are dead." She's like, "Oh, I haven't gotten them yet." And so you got 3 months to get them corrected. Now, of course, she went and got them corrected. I don't want my mother being pulled over by a cop.
Okay. I got to move it on, but I'm
But
just going to say
anyway,
a legit.
thank you for. But all I'm saying to you, and it is no different. The reason why people are talking about this subject is that it was a black woman. Period. If it was
You're
Britney
not the only
Spears,
one. You're not
nobody
the
would
only
be
one
talking
saying
about
that.
this.
All
Thank you,
right,
bro. I
John.
appreciate it.
Come on back to anytime. All right. I do co-op 7-9. You're saying he's speaking on personal experience. Yeah, I do believe some of his story is based on his personal experience. In regards to, real quick, going on that racial aspect of it, do cops pull over blacks more than they do other races? A lot of cops have admitted that, but at the end of the day, if your car is not up to par, it's not up to par. It's one thing for getting pulled over because you're a black guy with a nice car or driving to the wrong neighborhood. That is bullshit. But if your tags are not up to date or you got one headlight working, it's kind of a legitimate stop. Maybe they were already looking at you because you're black, which is profiling, but if you get pulled over for something you're legitimately doing wrong, I don't want to go around defending people who are not abiding by the law just because they're black. That's just my take on it. But I do admit that there is disparity in the way the police operate. I'm not disagreeing with that. Going back to the box. It is 228 Chris. Welcome to the program. 228 Chris. Looking in the comments, it's like going to the same fishing spot. If it wasn't good, they wouldn't do it. Fair enough. But there are laws designed to hurt us because we are black. One king. I agree with that. I do agree, like the sentencing disparity with coke versus crack and things like that. But getting pulled over for a broken tail light's a broken tail light. You don't get to escape the traffic stop because you happen to be black. Now that looks like reverse racism, where you only pulling over white people that's got a broken tail light because you don't want to insult blacks. That's all I'm saying. Just like in the drug world, just like when you're talking about drug runners or people committing crimes, one of the things they always say is drive the speed limit, make sure your shit is up to par. Don't give them a reason to pull you over. If you get pulled over for a bullshit traffic stop, I'm with you out there, call that out. But if you're actually committing a moving violation, the law is the law. I mean, that's all I'm saying. You don't get to escape the law because of the racism from America's history. You're breaking the law. Trump is a racist, and so are his supporters, says Nick Van Horn. I don't buy into the notion that everybody that votes left is something, everybody that votes right is something. There are legitimate reasons to vote both right and left. That's my take. Stay on your square. That may be a problem for some. Appreciate it. Take the time to educate themselves. They would understand that slavery was never abolished. One-eyed K, I'd love to have you on with that. I don't know why Chris never came on, but we'll go to. For some reason, the TikTok is just not acting right. Nutty Professor. Good evening. Good afternoon.
What's good with you? First of all, I hope you're having a good day, but I just wanted to,
Sure.
first of all, I wanted to say something. I don't believe that there is no such thing as reverse racism. I want to get that out the way. That's number one.
So wait a minute. So if a black guy has a business and somebody white tries to apply and he goes, "No, I want to hire my people first." You don't see that as being. What are you saying? Is just racism is racism? I don't
That
get
that
your
that
comment.
that's prejudice. That's not racism. Racism
What is racism?
racism racism comes from a group of people that have power over another group of people. Black people don't have power over anyone in this country.
So let me
And
ask you this
indigenous
then.
people have no power over anybody in this country. There's no such
I,
thing as reverse racism.
okay, so what if you get locked up and as a white person, you go in prison and we're not going to let you use the weights. We're not going to let you sit at this table because in here, the BGs, the black gangsters, we got all the power. Take your ass back to the cell. Is that not racism?
No, sir. No, sir. And what I mean by that, and let me explain further. When I said racism is when one group has power over another, I'm talking in a social construct, okay? I'm talking economics. I'm talking other things. I'm not talking, a group of bullies, because that's exactly what that is. Does prejudice exist? Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Man.
Prejudice exists. That is prejudice. That is
Okay,
not
in my
racism.
opinion, and I think you're changing the definition of the word. If you first you
I'm
said
I'm actually not.
first you
I'm actually
said wait
not.
a minute.
Look,
Wait a minute, let me respond to you. First, you said
yeah.
racism is about having power over someone. I gave you an example. Then you start saying it's about having
It,
financial and economic power. You
it's
you kind of changed your definition.
No, sir. No, sir. I did not. I did not. But if you go to Webster Dictionary, okay, and you look up the term racist, you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay? What I'm saying is that there is no such thing as a black person being racist. There's
I
no such
don't.
thing. And I used to think like you do now, sir. I used to think like that too, and until I was educated
Yeah,
on it. And
yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't.
calling you stupid. Please don't believe that.
If
I'm
I
not
got
saying that.
okay, I'll give you an example. I used to be a landlord. I had a number of properties in Chicago. If I deliberately chose not to rent to a white person because I wanted to fill my properties with blacks, is that not being racist?
That's a racist act. But no, sir. Based on the definition of racism, no, sir, it isn't. That's prejudice. And if you did that, I think you'd be just as big as a scum as the white person doing it to a black person.
And that's the point I'm saying is that blacks commit racist acts all the time. I mean, there
No,
are
sir.
plenty of black employers. There,
Blacks commit prejudice all the time,
if I,
not
I
racism.
don't, so if I own a business and I don't and deliberately choose not to hire white people, that's not racism to you.
It is absolutely not. Now
But
again, let me be clear. Let me be clear. I'm not condoning any of that type of behavior. That's number one. But what I'm saying is we're in semantics now. There's a difference between racism and prejudice. Black people can
so
absolutely be prejudiced against another culture,
yeah,
another race.
I get what you're saying. I obviously disagree. I think because we have a history in this country where whites have redlined and refused to rent to blacks, and
Absolutely.
they lost racism cases. They didn't lose prejudice cases. They
But can
when
I can
you're
I
white. When you're white and you don't hire a black person, they don't call you prejudiced. They call you racist. So
I
according to
know what they call
you,
you. It doesn't mean it's correct. But see,
okay,
when you're talking about redlining, we're talking about a system that systematically targets a minority group.
yeah.
We're talking a complete system. What complete system in these United States does black or people of color have over anybody? What complete system?
Yeah, you don't have to be in charge of a complete system to be racist, though.
But that's
I
the
mean,
definition of racism, my sir, my
no,
friend.
no, racism doesn't have to be systematic. It can be or systemic. It can be individual racism as well. If the Klan forms a group and goes out and kills somebody, that's not systemic. That's a little organization doing that on their own. It's still racist. No different than if a bunch of black guys get together and go find somebody white and victimize them. That is being racist. That you don't need to have a whole system behind you to commit a racist act or be a racist. I don't see that.
Sir, with all due respect, because I get what you're saying, I get what you're saying, but the I'm actually going based on the term racism versus prejudice. There is a complete difference, even though we've
Okay.
categorized them to be the same.
Yeah, I don't. I guess we'll just agree to disagree. I believe it's a case of what I'm hearing from you, and with all due respect to me, in my opinion, what you're doing is kind of redefining a word to benefit minorities. Because now all of a
No,
sudden,
no,
white people can be, and I don't want to sound like Kanye because I think he's an asshole. But I'm just simply saying, based on what you're saying, a white person, no matter what the hell happens to him, cannot be a victim of racist in America. He can't be a victim
that
of
is ex-
racism.
that is exactly what I'm saying.
That's
That is
wrong.
exactly what I'm saying.
That is
That is
wrong.
exact. Now,
That hurts.
can a white person be a victim of prejudice? 100%. Yes, sir. Yes,
But
sir.
they
White people
but they
can be
cannot be
victims
a
of
victim of
prejudice.
But a white person, so in other words, a black person in America cannot be racist.
That is correct. Until that black person, until that black person controls the wealth over other people, absolutely. It's a
Wow.
system, sir. It is a
Okay.
system.
Obviously, we're
This
not going
is
to agree on
this
that.
this
Yeah.
is what I challenge you to do. Please add me. I'm add you, and let's debate this again. Go do some research on the term prejudice, racist
Okay.
versus prejudice, and then because with all due respect, I love lives like this because it's about educating each other. Because
Okay.
I'm open for learning more myself.
All right. Fair enough. We will do that. We can. Hey, come on back to anytime. I do got to move it on,
I
but you're always welcome back, man.
I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely. The Nutty Professor. Now, in my opinion, because we're obviously talking about why Trump didn't rescue Whelan, so we've obviously gotten sidetracked. But I encourage you guys to come on for whatever topic you want to discuss. But I personally, as I told him, obviously I disagree with him, as I say all the time. MAGA's welcome on the program, and the fact that me and anyone that comes on, even if they're coming from the left, if we disagree, I won't censor you or block you or ban you for your opinion. He obviously probably is from the left like myself, but we clearly disagree. I hear what he's saying, and it almost to me sounds like he's altering the definition of benefit blacks. He clearly disagrees with that, and he's entitled to do that. I believe strongly that if you have a mindset where white people cannot be the victims of racism, you actually hurt the cause to address racism to begin with. Because now all of a sudden there are white people that get their ass beat, went in the wrong neighborhood, or somebody decided to harm them just because they didn't like white people. And we're going to look at that person and say, you're not a victim. I think it hurts the cause, but that is me. That is me. Other folks obviously disagree, but I don't think you're going to help your cause when you tell other people only I can be victimized by this, not you, despite you laying there with 5 guys stomping on your head right now. If that was me, that shit would be racism. But because it's you, it's prejudice. Now, I think that hurts the cause. Going back to the box, appreciate the hat and mustache there. Unapologetic. I'm black and I'm with you, host, says Co-op 7. I appreciate that. Brown reverse discrimination, says Brown 5-3. Call it what you. To me, when you start going between what is prejudice and what is racism, to me, it's really just playing word games. Because if a white person is prejudiced to a black person, they are going to be charged and sued for racism all day. The courts are not going to be playing games with the words. Unapologetic black man. What am I getting wrong here?
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What am I getting wrong?
I can't hear you.
You're
I
going in
can't
and
hear
out of
you.
mute. Okay, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, what am I getting
Okay,
wrong?
cool. I don't think you're getting anything wrong. I know you. That's why I love watching your show, because you play devil's advocate. You make people think. You just don't jump on board with anti-racism and or racism. But
Okay, hang
I
on.
think
I always hang on before I let you continue. I just see crazy comments. I always respond to this. I can't pronounce the name, but he said handsome got on the turtleneck. He definitely be pulling holes. You wrong for that. You wrong for that. Go ahead, unapologetic. You fucked me up with that. But yeah, let me know, because the caller was suggesting that you can't be racist if you're black.
I think that people are leaving out a lot of context, such as racism in America.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about America because we live in America. We care about America. We don't have to worry about how white people are treated in Africa and Australia. We're talking about America. And
But in
that goes back.
America, does his comment even apply in America? Is it possible in America that only white people can be racist? In America, he's suggesting that black people cannot be racist because they don't
No,
have any
okay. So
power.
that's what I mean. People are using, okay. So can a black person be racist in America? Yes. Can a white person um, uh, be inflicted by racism from black people in America? No.
What is your definition of racism?
Racism will be 300 years, three branches, laws that inflicted an entire race. That's what racism was in America and has
That's
been.
systemic racism. You
It,
don't see where an individual can be racist. You
no,
can
no,
meet.
no, 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 no. What I'm saying is that's what people fail to realize with the way we speak, because people are trying to minimize racism in America. It's always been that way since the first person got off a slave ship. Caucasian people have been trying to minimize the meaning of racism and making it an anecdotal conversation every time. And
Right.
do we understand that there's some black people that are racist that have power that can impact an entire group in a town or institution or company or business? Yes, we know that. But is that reverse racism? Not in America. Caucasian people have never been inflicted by three branches of government
Yeah,
that
but
we
you're
have to
talking.
live by.
Yeah, but you're talking. You're making similar to the last caller. You're making it sound like racism is only a major issue when it's systemic. I mean, Jay-Z or Puff Daddy, who owns a huge rap label, you don't think they get submissions from white rap artists? If they decide not to hire a white artist, isn't that being racist to them?
And again, like I said, every black person can admit that there are situations and anecdotal compromises where they feel, hey, I was just a victim of racism. I'm not gonna invalidate your experience. But again, that's a 0.00000 anecdotal
Okay,
experience.
that's fine.
In
It's
a,
only anecdotal when it's happening. I get what you said. Certainly, the majority of racism in this country has come from the other side. I get that 100%. But in terms of it's only a small percentage or it's only anecdotal, yeah, that's fine when it's not happening to you. But if you are the white guy or the white woman that goes to a black club, for instance, and the black dudes are hitting on her, and all of a sudden 5 or 6 sisters beat the shit out of her. It's only anecdotal if that's not your mom or that's not your aunt or somebody. That
no,
is racism. I'm saying
no, no,
that
no.
that
I'm
happens
again.
and that's racism.
I'm not denying that they're ignorant people. What I'm saying is when
It's
Caucasian,
racist though. Don't
yes,
call them
listen,
ignorant. Call it
it-
racist.
I didn't. Okay, there's racist black people.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
there we
care.
go.
I don't care. I don't care how many times we say it. Yes, there's going to be racist black people, but that whole argument is because they're trying to minimize a larger portion of America, Caucasian people being racist.
Yeah,
That has been from the beginning. Anytime a black person says, "Hey, you're being racist," white people say, "Well, then remember this, remember
yeah.
that,"
See, I
and we're
gotta.
talking about. Hold on, we're talking about uh, uh, a victim mentality when you're at the same time creating atrocities for an entire race.
I
So
gotta
again, I'm
disagree.
not saying that um, black people can't be racist. I'm saying that when you hear people scream that black people could be racist now in 2022, it's just a hit dog on a holler. It's just a combative
Let me
argument
respond to that.
to a
To
bigger
me,
problem.
yeah, to me, an asshole is an asshole. I don't like the excuse that, yeah, you're
Nobody's
black.
denying that.
This is what I'm hearing from you, and you can tell me where I'm wrong. I'm
Mm,
hearing that if a black person does something racist, he's
mm,
acting out because of systemic racism that he may have felt. No mention that he just might be a racist asshole.
mm,
Everybody that engages in criminal behavior can't blame them all on being provoked by history or being provoked by systemic racism. Maybe
mm.
some of them are just assholes that are just as equally as bad as the folks we're talking about. You can't
And I
blame. You
said,
can't give. You're giving black racists an out by
no,
saying,
I'm not.
"Well, it's because of 300 years of the way they treated us, so he's
No, no.
committing a
Okay.
crime based on that."
No, okay. So let me say this one more time. I'm gonna say it really clear. Is there black racism out here? Yes.
Period.
Has that been has yeah, period.
Okay. That's all.
However,
All
comma.
the excuses are where we have a problem. I
No, I'm
agree
not
there are black
making
racists out here.
again, I didn't
When
come
you
up
try
here
to
and make
explain it, when you try to explain it by suggesting they're being racist because of a reason, that's where we disagree. But I'll
No,
let you.
no, no.
I'll give you the
I'm
last
not.
word. Go ahead.
I'm not coming up here defending or justifying any racism that somebody has been a victim of regarding a black person. However, comma, that argument always comes up when they're trying to silence a problem that black people have been voicing from the beginning
Okay.
of time, is what I'm saying. That's the only argument they have. It's not like Caucasian people go on their lives and they talk about, hey, we're having a march against this racist company that has black owners. We're voicing our opinion and we're making people aware of race. They don't care about that. It's only an argument. So again, I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that why is it always that their argument when we're talking
Oh,
about a
I don't.
problem
Yes,
that's bigger
we
than,
just.
okay, so let me just say it like this. If you are a victim of black racism, right?
Yeah.
You are saying that this institution and or these black people are racist to white people, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. How can you say that this person is being racist to only white people without any proof? Like to the entire
Well, now,
white
sound
population.
like all the white folks that try to deny racism. That same question is
Exactly.
often asked to us.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. We can keep on arguing about it, and only reason we're
No,
arguing about it is
see,
because people
that's a
are
whole.
trying to.
Wait a minute. That's a whole different conversation. At the end of the day, like the last caller was just simply trying to suggest that black people cannot be racist, and that's where the disagreement is. All it is, well, now you got to prove it and all of that. That is why racism is so hard to get to the bottom of, is because when someone does something that is racist, everybody goes, well, maybe it actually was done for this reason and not
Hmm.
racism. And
Hmm.
racism is very difficult to prove. That's
Yeah,
why
because nobody's
historically
gonna
it's been
admit
so
they're racist.
hard.
Nobody's gonna admit they're racist.
Right, right. So
That's why
it's
we.
always,
That's why when people.
unless the person is coming out and yelling, "I hate you because of this
Right.
reason," you're always going to have a hard time proving it. But I don't
And
want
that's why
to
people
get to
are
the point.
asking. That's why people are asking for proof of racism. Like to this day, we still have anti-discrimination laws being passed for black people and people of color. So when you ask who are the real racists, how about the people that are still have to admit that we still have to make anti-discrimination laws? That's a bigger
Well,
level of racism, is what I'm saying. We're trying to minimize it to people saying, hey, that company is racist. How about we keep a bigger
yeah.
picture,
Well, it's got to start.
which
It's got to
is,
start at the bottom, though. It's got to also the individual heart and mind has also got to be changed. It can't just come from the top.
but then we're
Individuals
going to
got
be
to start
arguing.
doing it as well.
Look what we do at the bottom. We argue. That's why I said let's keep it at the top like it's been doing and show what true racism is and make more anti-discrimination, anti-racist laws. That way we don't have to argue about them because I feel this way. I think that way is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying
All right.
to negate anybody's experience, but on a bigger picture, we literally have mechanisms to prove racism
All
and
right.
hate crimes and laws. So we can stop arguing about it and
Okay.
create more laws to prove
Fair
true
enough. All right.
racism.
All right. I got to move it on, man. Appreciate you
What
coming
was
through.
your
Good
what was
chat.
your topic of the what was your topic of the live?
We I gotta move it. I gotta let other folks in. We were talking about Brittany Griner though, man, but I gotta move it on at this point.
Oh, okay, yeah, they love Trump, whatever.
Okay, in the comment, that was funny, but in regards to the comment, we are asking that with Trump being so overly critical of Biden not bringing home Whelan, why didn't he do it himself? Whelan was arrested in 2018. So Trump had plenty of time to bring Whelan home. He did not do it, and now he's criticizing the hell out of Biden for bringing Griner home instead of bringing Wheeler home. So the obvious question is, why didn't Trump do it himself? Many have suggested that Trump If he was still president, Russia would have not even invaded Ukraine because Trump has all these powers or he has this great relationship with Russia. So the question is, why didn't he bring him home? Not to mention, even though Trump currently is not president of the United States, he still has access to telephones in Russia. He can still negotiate on the behalf of getting Whelan released. The president is not the only one that does that. We often have other individuals trying to get folks free. So why didn't Trump do it himself if he thinks Biden is failing so bad? Looking in the comments, we need Obama back, right, Mr. Handsome. Well, unfortunately, Obama has served both of his terms, but there is his wife. If he could convince Michelle Obama to run, I've said many a time on the program, I believe Michelle would be incredibly competitive. If Michelle Obama was to announce a run for office, appreciate that. Cornstar G-Ma, thank you for that hat mustache. I believe Michelle Obama would be incredibly competitive. In fact, right now, among the liberal theater, I can't think of any liberal that would be more competitive in a run for office than Michelle Obama. For those on the left side of the aisle, did you not see any clips of Obama speaking out in behalf of Warnock down in Georgia, Fetterman in Pennsylvania, or even going against the Kerry Lake gubernatorial run in Arizona? He still is excellent at campaign speeches, talking about Obama. He is excellent. Can you imagine that man going from city to city trying to promote his wife? I don't know if Michelle Obama is as well of a speaker as Obama is, Barack Obama, but obviously folks would vote for her, the ones on the left, believing they're getting a second coming of Barack. So I'm just giving you my spiel on it. Folks, if you disagree, feel free to do so. Tap the screen. 30,000 likes can happen in here. I appreciate you guys rolling with your boy. For those who are new to the program, follow the channel. I'm a huge proponent of free speech. You do not have to fear being blocked, banned, or censored for coming in the box, stating your point. The fact that you may disagree with the host never means a damn thing here. I'll give you plenty of time to state your point. Speaking of the box, we're going back to the box. It is the Frisky Fireman. Love the name. The Frisky Fireman. Good afternoon and welcome to the program. Frisky Fireman. We're asking why the hell didn't Trump bring back Whelan if folks on the right are so critical of Biden not doing it?
Man, it's political stunts. Is what it seems like to me. He's just trying to get back in the game, and that's his way of trying to do that, make the other one look bad. They both do it on both sides, and they admit to it blatantly. It's just that was his chance to dig in on that subject.
Well, it's interesting you would say that because a lot of folks are suggesting by Biden bringing home Brittany Griner, he's engaging in political pandering to blacks, to the LGBT community. What you're suggesting is by Trump doing that, he's also politically pandering to his base.
Yeah. They're all trying to get votes. That's all it's about, man.
Yeah.
Whichever side you're on, somebody's going to say something bad about the other side. Politic-wise, I kind of stay towards the middle. And I know, you have to do this or that. No, my belief is, you have your personal choice. Like the abortion, that's somebody's personal choice. My wife, we have different beliefs on that.
Right.
Me personally, I was adopted. I could have caught the coat hanger myself. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like, I don't want to see it happen. I hate that they kill babies, but on the other hand, yeah, it's a woman's choice. That's fine. And she's like, well, it's a woman's choice.
Think about the way you phrase it. When you said I could have caught the coat hanger, they only use coat hangers when abortion is legally banned. So what you're saying is the direction we're heading in now is more likely to have folks catch coat hangers because if abortion is legal, people aren't using coat hangers.
Possibly. Now, in our state, in Mississippi, what they're trying to do is they're not going to ban it, but up to a certain point in the female's term. Like once you're past your first trimester, then they're going to say, hey, it's too late. Now, there's a lot of arguments. When should it be, when the woman first knows of it within the first week or whether first, second trimester, like when is it considered a child? And all they're saying is, hey, first trimester, you starting to show a little bit. You should have known something, what you want to do with it. You know.
So, but let me ask you, Cook. You're talking about in your state they have it up to a certain limit, and anytime we talk about this, a lot of folks on the right suggest, well, it's not federal, abortion's still legal. I'm seeing in the comments. Do you believe folks on the right have any intention at all of trying to make abortion federally banned in all 50 states?
Some wish, depending on their religious beliefs, this is the Bible Belt, and there's some that believe, the after conception, it should be illegal, and they would push it in all 50 states. And
Let's take someone like Mike Pence, who might run for office. We're not saying Mike Pence has any chance of winning, but if Mike Pence was president, do you think he would support a federal abortion ban?
no,
Okay. And I'm asking that question mainly because there are 4 Republicans, well known, that have stated that a federal abortion ban is either possible or the goal. And one of them is Mike Pence. He has come out and stated that he will not rest. In fact, I did a YouTube video, and I believe his quote was, "We should not rest until abortion is banned in all states across the land." So,
he's not going to get
while
it.
you're saying you don't think he would do it, he's
He's not going
saying that
to
we
get
should not stop until
it.
that's done.
It's all talk. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to push the vote, just like you said earlier with Grenier and Trump and all that. They're just pushing for the vote to get this certain demographic,
Yeah, but if
And
someone, you believe in the protection of the Second Amendment, don't you?
yeah,
Okay, so how
I
would you
believe in
feel
all
if
kind of freedom.
somebody, yeah, so when Beto O'Rourke in Texas yelled out, "You damn right, we're going to take your AR-15s," how would you have responded if somebody said, "Well, that's just all talk. He's just trying to do that to get votes"? Do you not take him at his word that if he's actually elected, he's going to try to take your guns away?
No, I take all that as bullshit because they're going to have to come get my guns.
Right.
I
But you
got
don't think
guns that they don't even know about.
right,
In
but you
fact, I'd like to
don't
tell you a story after this, but go ahead.
well don't confess to any felonies on the
No, no,
program.
no,
But
no. This is an awesome story about adoption, and I'm just met my biological father. But I'll go into that if you want.
okay, just wanted to say real quick. I used the Beto O'Rourke. My point is, voters are going to take politicians at their word. If a politician yells out, "I want to take everybody's guns away," people are not going to automatically assume it's just bullshit. They're going to assume that if you are given a chance, you're going to take everybody's guns away. When Mike Pence suggests that we should not rest until we get a federal abortion ban, people are not just going to assume he's just talking shit. They're going to assume that maybe he will fail, but his goal is to do what he's saying he's going to do.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he said that's what he's going to do, but like
Yeah,
I said, it's not going to happen. So I don't. They're just pandering to different people and demographics and get those votes.
right.
I mean, look at what Pence actually did when him and Trump got into it, and he was like, "Oh, you're a sellout. You did this vote against me and the Democrats and all that." And he. That's what I'm saying. Pence doesn't have a chance for that. I mean, he'll try to get back on the
We
Republican ticket,
don't we don't know that though. I
but
mean, if he ends up getting a 60 Senate majority or something like that, if he don't came out and said it, because people vote for you based on what when Beto O'Rourke says you're damn right we're going to take away your guns, the people who are anti-gun are going to vote for him, the people who are not are going to vote against him. They're taking him at his word. When Mike Pence says he wants a federal abortion ban and we should not rest before getting one, people who want that are going to vote for him. And if he is in position to do it, you have to do what your constituents voted for you in the first place. So you'd have to believe that if he was in a position to implement a federal abortion ban, he's not going to renege on something he's openly promised. He would do it.
there's gonna be
So
look, there's gonna be all kind of marches if something like that happens. That'd be very catastrophic.
yeah, that doesn't.
The United States, if something like that. Look at just what happened about them talking about, hey, different states are gonna have rights to just do the abortion thing that just happened recently, and it happened all over. And it's like
Yeah,
there was
but
marches
marches.
everywhere. So you just
Okay, there would
imagine
be
if it
marches.
actually went to federal law, the anarchy that would become.
Yeah, it would be marches, but that don't mean it wouldn't happen. I mean, look what they did in Michigan when Governor Whitmer was requiring everybody to wear masks. They surrounded the whole damn Capitol building. It didn't stop the mask mandates from continuing. They came out in March. Look at remember the truckers. The truckers lined up and not doing their jobs because they didn't like the Biden administration with the COVID. Didn't stop them. They still did it. So yeah, there may be marches, but at the end of the day, if Mike Pence is able to implement a federal abortion ban, I got to take the guy at his word. Why would you lie about doing something that even you admitted would rile up millions of people? If he suggested he's going to do it, we have to take him at his word that if he was given the ability to do so, he would do it.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: we're talking Republican, Democrat parties.
Yeah.
I like Joe Jorgensen. I'm sure nobody even in here remembered her being on the ticket.
I remember the name, and that's about it. I don't remember much else about her other than the name.
Everything that she was speaking, I was with. But the thing is, third party like that, nobody's going to vote for them. You know, and it just takes votes away from this party and that party. But everything she was
I
speaking,
disagree. I disagree. You need money to be a politician. I would tell you right off the bat, if Trump does not get selected by the Republicans and he created a third party, he would get plenty of votes. It's just not enough people knew Jorgensen. That's where the issue is, because you need money to get your name and your candidacy out there. And being a third party, you're not. That is why, I'll give you an example. That is why somebody like Bernie Sanders ran as a Democrat and Trump ran as a Republican. Neither one of those individuals are part of their party, which is why Bernie Sanders continues to receive flack from traditional Democrats and Trump continues to receive flack from traditional Republicans. It's because they never were part of those parties. They came into those parties and tried to change those parties to their narrative, because they knew if Sanders knew if he ran as a Democrat and Trump knew if he ran as a Republican, they wouldn't be able to raise enough money to do what they wanted to do. So they had to run as those parties. But if Trump ran as an independent or Bernie Sanders ran as an independent, they wouldn't have had enough money. So they tried to infiltrate those parties, and the traditional members of those parties don't like them because they're trying to change those parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to move it on, though, man. Appreciate you coming in. Come on back through anytime.
Thank you.
Looking in the comments, Trump will beat them in a group run. Trump will lose to weaken Biden. E. Botson, I would, as a liberal, we would love to see a Trump DeSantis run, because no matter which one of them wins, they'll be far more bloody come the general election. And we may see that. I don't think there's anyone, even strong Trump supporters, that believe Trump will run unopposed for the 2024 presidency. He's going to have Republicans run against him. Is it all going to be no names and people from in the weeds? No. We know that folks like Pence is flirting with it. Chris Christie is flirting with it. Ambassador Bolton, John Bolton. Ambassador John Bolton has stated that he may step up because he doesn't like Trump. There are some well-known Republicans, some of them who actually used to work for Trump, like Chris Christie and Bolton, that are indicating they may run, and Mike Pence. That's three of them: Pence, Bolton, and Chris Christie. So they clearly know where some of the bodies are buried. I believe that Trump would probably beat them out among Republicans, but they could certainly put a hurting on Trump because they know a lot about him. Some of these guys have been friends with Trump for years, talking about Chris Christie. I think they would be really good competition for him. So as a liberal, I'm hoping to see him face someone in the primary, make for an interesting election. Timothy Wilmoth. Good afternoon and welcome to the program. Timothy, same name. Appreciate you coming through. What's on your mind this afternoon?
I'm not much. I was getting back to your original topic, Brittany
Talking
Griner.
about Whelan.
Yeah. Well, there's another gentleman that got locked up for the exact same offense that Brittany Griner got locked up for.
How long has that person been locked up?
He got locked up March of 2021.
Oh, so he's almost, a little bit more recent than a little bit longer in there than Griner, because Griner got in there. When did Griner get locked up? February of this year?
Yeah, February this year.
Okay. What is this guy's name?
Mark Fogel.
I have not heard about him either. And how long is he serving for?
14 years.
Well, according to Russia, the Brittany Griner got the maximum sentence for what she was carrying. So was Mark Fogel carrying more product?
No, he was carrying just a small amount of it. He was a teacher from Pittsburgh that was
Okay.
like a interpreter. He would go to Russia to teach over in Russia, and he would come back here. And he was in Russia
Well, but
teaching, and
according
they
but
found a
according to the
small amount on
Russian
him.
yeah, but according to the Russian government, they gave Brittany Griner the maximum sentence. So I'm trying to figure out how did he get 14 years if her 9 was the max?
I think he may have had a little bit more than what she had.
Okay, so it's not the same crime then. It's a step up.
Just a little step up. Somebody's on the
Okay.
comment saying he got caught with 70 grams.
All right. That's more than a
All right.
vape pen.
Yeah, that's more than a vape pen, but
Okay, so
you
it's
know,
not the same crime then.
not exactly the same crime.
Yeah.
But you didn't
It's a
hear about
trumped up
nothing.
charge. It's a trumped up charge, nevertheless. But if you're suggesting that he had 70 grams on him, now you're talking about, more than personal use. Maybe. I don't know a lot about, weed measurements or marijuana measurements, but certainly in her case, we're talking about just basically personal use for certain. So his crime, although he did receive a ridiculous sentence as well, he did commit a harsher crime.
Yeah, and I think she got railroaded. I don't think she should have gotten 9.5 years. Of course, we don't know the laws in Russia.
Yeah. I don't
You know,
think
we
either one of them. I don't think 14 years for 70 grams is right either. I mean, I even, to me, unless you got a whole, trunk full of weed, I think 14 years is a long ass time.
and he had a medical
So,
marijuana card too.
but that's from America though.
Yeah, it's from America,
Yeah,
which
I mean, that's like going
again, we don't
overseas
know
with
the
a
law.
Yeah, that's like going overseas with a firearms permit. That is meaningless. So
Oh
I
yeah,
understand having a medical marijuana card, but if the drug is illegal in another country, just like a lot of the prescriptions we get, you can get a prescription for an opioid or something that's legal here in America, and if you get on the plane with it, you're committing a serious felony in another country. Like I had
oh
being candid, I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I had a couple wisdom teeth pulled, and they gave me a prescription for 90 hydrocodone or whatever they're called. I didn't take a single one. I didn't have that much pain. I took a Tylenol. I was fine by the next day. But they gave me 90 hydrocodone, which is a fairly strong opioid. If I
yeah,
had
that's
got
a
on a
lot.
plane or something, yeah, if I had got on a plane or something with 90 pills on me, I'm gonna have a hard time explaining that's for personal use, and my doctor's prescription might not mean shit. They may think you paid the doctor off to get this. You shouldn't have 90 of these.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't
Oh,
know what other countries are going to do or say.
right, right.
Yeah,
But
I
so
think that.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was
I
gonna say
think.
so. But so in regards to Whelan, with Trump saying that we should have, Biden should have brought him home, but Trump not doing it himself, you see that as propaganda.
Yeah, I see that as maybe Trump didn't want to release the merchant of death for Whelan. Maybe that's
Yeah.
what was going to happen. Trump said, "You know what? I can't do it. We can't release." The Marine takes an oath. He says he's going to do it for his country. True and through. They're true blooded Americans. They know what they sign up for.
Yeah, but how do you respond to folks who point out he was kicked out of the Marines? He was no longer even. I mean, they completely eradicated his military status.
See, that's the thing is, once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. My nephew's a
Well, but
Marine,
here's
and they
what I
can get
mean.
called up at any time.
Yeah, but here's what I mean. You notice when you see pictures of Whelan, you never see his picture of him in his Marine dress clothing. I mean, clearly there are pictures of him that are out there like that. Every picture you see of him is in regular civilian clothing. So they clearly are not honoring the fact that he was once a Marine. Even on the right wing media, I have never seen a picture of this man in his dress blues or whatever the case may be. So that
Yeah,
should show you something that the Marines are not big fans of this guy. I've not seen a single picture of him showing him in his military outfit.
yeah, I haven't either. But they're saying that he's a spy.
On behalf
That's
of
what.
who?
And see, that's the thing. They won't say. America is kind of, they buried him. And America will bury somebody if they're a spy and they don't want to have
No,
nothing to do with
they should. I mean, if you're spying on behalf of another country, if you are an American that served in the military and you go overseas and start spilling secrets, they should disavow you. Wouldn't that be a traitor?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah.
So I
To your
mean, yeah,
point, it
you
would
can
be.
get killed for that in a lot of countries. I mean, if you go over and you start telling, because you can get people killed if you start going to Russia or something and you giving them intimate details on where bases are or how machinery works and things like that. They're ultimately going to use that for something against the United States. So yeah, they should disavow you at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They should not give you any kind of leeway. And but let's also look at how much support Brittany Griner had from all the celebrities.
true. She's well
That's
known.
all. That's all you heard from every celebrity was, "We got to pull her out. She did nothing wrong." I watch Live PD every week, and I see people get arrested every week for weed.
Hmm.
If it's illegal, it's illegal. Don't do it.
Yeah,
If
I don't
she couldn't go a
disagree.
week without it,
Yeah,
I mean that's ridiculous.
yeah, I don't disagree that she committed a crime, but where I had an issue is I get a lot of folks, my beloved MAGA folks, who will say things like, "Well, she did the crime, she should do the time." Point is, when Trump brought home that individual who was pretty much on his deathbed from North Korea, that guy also committed a crime. That's why North Koreans held him. Same thing with the kid that was going to get caned in Singapore. He ultimately did get caned. He
Yeah,
committed a crime, yet we fought on his behalf. I don't understand why all of a sudden Brittany Griner commits a very minor offense, and suddenly our viewpoint all of a sudden is you committed the crime, you should do the time. When we have a history of negotiating the release of Americans that have went overseas and committed crimes. Why is she different?
because she had celebrity support. That's what it boiled
So if
down to. She had
so
Hollywood
if a
backing her.
celebrity so if a celebrity goes to another country and commits a crime, we want them held to a higher account just because they're a celebrity?
No, we don't want, but they will be held to a higher account.
Okay. All right.
They,
Well, I'm talking about folks on the right though. Folks on the right are suggesting that Griner should do her time because she committed the crime. And I'm pointing out there have been plenty of celebrities, non-celebrities, folks who are not celebrities that we have rescued. And like I pointed out, Trump rescued a guy from North Korea that went over there and committed a crime. And I didn't hear anyone suggesting at that time, hey, he committed the crime, let him die in North Korea. No, he brought him
yeah,
home, and we gave him accolades for doing so.
yeah. But why didn't Trump bring Whalen home? That's the question.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why he didn't bring Whalen home, but to have him now criticize Biden for not doing it, it does seem hypocritical. It seems wrong. I mean, certainly when you had the opportunity to do it, you're going to now blame the next man for not doing what you could have done as well. That looks hypocritical. If you want to point out you believe the trade was bad, that's a different argument. But holding Biden accountable for not bringing home someone that you could have brought home, yeah, it looks hypocritical.
Biden's screwing up the country itself. He doesn't need Trump's help to say that he's screwing up.
Well, without Trump, there would not be a Biden. The only reason Biden is in office,
Yep.
you listen to folks who voted against Trump in 2020, particularly folks on the left. Ask them why they voted against Trump. Nobody's going to say we didn't like Trump's economy or $2 gas. It's because he was acting an asshole. So the only reason Trump
Yep.
didn't get reelected, and even as a liberal, I'm willing to admit on paper Trump deserved a second term. But when you're acting the way he's acting, it is what it is. So I tell folks that all the time. Anybody who's pissed off with the performance of Biden, when folks are walking around with the "fuck your feelings" shirts on, or when Trump says Pocahontas and folks are cheering on, you're actually cheering this man on as he talks himself out of a job. And now that he's doing it again, oddly enough, the same folks are cheering this same stuff on. Like, let the guy stick to running the country. Do not give him applause for doing that stuff. If you want him back in office in 2024, if he goes back into Ron DeSanctimonious and shit like that, the room should go silent. Don't cheer that on.
Exactly. I told
Yeah.
my wife the other night, I said, Trump needs to take a break from Twitter, everything for a long time. He needs to just take a break from social media and TV. just to
Yeah.
let things cool down.
Yeah, I actually believe that one of the main draws of Trump from MAGA is that they like the criticism because they know they could get the same policies from DeSantis, yet they want Trump. What's the difference between Trump and DeSantis? Trump does all that other shit. So I actually
Yeah.
believe there is a large portion of MAGA that likes that name calling, likes that insults. Because you got DeSantis who's younger, doesn't have the baggage, could do 2 terms, but you still want Trump. Why is that?
I want DeSantis, to be honest with you. I love what he did when he sent the immigrants to
That's the same shit. Why would you want that? That's the same shit we're talking about. That's not going to help DeSantis either.
no, but I loved it when he sent them up there to Martha's Vineyard and let them get a taste of what he goes through every day down in Florida.
I understand what you're saying, and even if you favor it, I'm just going to. That is the same shit that got Trump out. That's a Trumpism. That's something that Trump would have done. I'm telling you, if I could make a shirt for Trump or DeSantis at this point, it would say, shut the fuck up and legislate. If these guys just would do the job they're doing, they could win. All of that satellite stuff that you're talking, that's the kind of stuff that causes them to lose. And what DeSantis just did, I don't believe that that will help him politically. I just think that he kept the country open during COVID. The economy of Florida is doing well and things like that. Stick to that. this
Yeah.
this other these other stuff, that what you're talking about, yeah, the base loves it. You like it because of that. You don't like the way the border's being dealt with. You don't like that folks in Arizona and Texas have to deal with all. I get that. But shipping people, really what they did is they exploited those folks. Had them thinking there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow when they were only doing this to make a political point. So they exploited all of these people. Don't
Yeah.
get behind that. Yeah, don't get behind that. That's it makes I get the point you want to make, but it's wrong to use actual human beings to make that point.
Oh, absolutely it is. But what
Yeah,
you got to admit that the people of Martha's Vineyard did not handle it the way they should have.
that's true, but neither did DeSantis. You're
No.
using human beings to make a political point. I mean, he made it sound like he was helping them out, sending them to Martha's Vineyard. All you're doing this to get in the news. You haven't checked with the people in Martha's Vineyard to make sure they're going to give them any of this stuff. You just sent them there to get on TV, as you just stated. The people in Martha's Vineyard didn't even handle it right. So now it goes back to DeSantis. You told me these people are going to give me all this when I get here. They didn't do it. Did you even make a phone call and make sure this was going to happen? No, I did not.
No.
I was just trying to show America that immigrants are coming in. So he used actual human beings to make a point and put them in this awful situation. That does not look good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. So
But he was wanting to show the rest of the country what immigration really looks like. I think that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, then hire some actual American citizens, give them a paycheck, and have them pose as illegal immigrants when they get off a bus that you paid for. Don't do it to real people who are expecting something, and then you leave them high and dry like that. He done it to real people. He exploited them, having them think something was there. They're already coming to America hoping to make a better way or a better life, made all these bullshit promises, and then just dropped him off in Martha's Vineyard. What he did was wrong.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, but I still think
Yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah, it's funny, but not if you're one of those people or somebody who sympathizes with them. I'm just simply saying, just like Pocahontas is funny, or Sleepy Joe Biden, or Crazy Bernie, all of that stuff is funny, but you're costing yourself millions of voters, millions
Oh,
of people.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Have
So
you ever have you ever been to the border?
yeah, I've been in Laredo. I've been far. I've actually tried to do a video with agents. I've sat down on the Rio Grande and talked to agents and asked them in 2017 if they think the wall was necessary. Yeah, I've been there many a time.
Yeah, I was down there a few years ago. It was ridiculous. It was
Yeah.
so screwed up, and it was just nothing what you think. You have to go visit it to understand it.
Yeah, I understand it's a serious problem. I do understand that, but I don't think what Ron DeSantis done is going to help it out at all. I just don't. In fact, what he did is probably, if he believes he has the solution and Biden is getting it wrong, his actions are going to make it harder for him to get in position so he can implement solutions. Because if he runs for president, that type of shit is going to make people not vote for him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
it was a bad move, but I got to move it on. Timothy,
All right.
is that first time talking?
Yeah.
Okay, good talk, man. Come on back through anytime.
All right. Thanks.
Absolute, good, absolute. All right, folks. Unfortunately, I do got to terminate the live. I'm on a lunch break as usual, so this is about the time I have to end the program. Do appreciate the fact you guys been rolling with your boy. 34,000 likes was good. Could have been 40, but I appreciate you definitely. And for you guys who are new to the program, definitely follow the shit. This is what we do here, protecting free speech. Even though I lean left, I enjoy the engagement with folks on the right. I make the solemn promise on every video I do not ban, block, or censor anyone's commentary. The fact that you might get on and disagree with me doesn't mean a damn thing. Give you plenty of time to state your point. And we try to keep it civilized. We try to engage in dialogue. Why do we do this? In my little tiny corner of social media, it is the belief that if we can have civilized dialogue across the aisle, they could do this shit in Washington. They're just not trying. We're proving it can be done, even in this little tiny corner of social media. So having said that, I will catch you guys on the next broadcast, generally here 11:30 a.m. and oftentimes 7 p.m. at night. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. You guys have a good day.